Hey guys, and welcome to my channel. Today I was thinking I could be painting this cute little beautiful ladybug. I've painted a lot of landscapes lately and I just felt like painting this cute little animal, sweet little animal. And as always, you can find the sketch for download, for free download on my website, and the link is down in the description box. So go ahead and check it out, download it for yourself, sketch it, trace it, and we can get started. First, I'm starting off with pre-wetting the entire paper, and afterwards with olive green, I'm painting the leaf, and here and there some parts in the background where I want to make an impression that there are maybe some leaves in the background or some flowers or whatever that are actually blurred. And green I'm using for the part of the leaf that I think will be in the shadow and a little bit darker. And when pre-wetting, I didn't really care if I would pre-wet also my ladybug and if my paint will bleed when I start to paint it, because I will paint that ladybug a little bit more saturated. I will use saturated colors so it won't be visible. You shouldn't be painting over it, but just you don't have to be so careful not to go maybe in some parts in some of the ladybug also, and also if you go outside the lines that I've drew for leaves. All the materials I will be using for this painting are also listed down in the description box. So if you're interested in what sort of paper or brushes or paints I use, you can check my supplies on that links. And if you're looking to buy some art supplies and use my links, I will get a small commission with no extra charge for you, and so I will be very grateful because that is actually the way I finance myself and also these videos. After the paint completely dried in my background and the leaf, I started off with painting my ladybug, and this time I did pre-wet only the part where the ladybug is, her wings actually, and started off with painting it with cadmium red light, and also I used golden deep for painting it. I will also be using some white gouache and neutral black to paint in the wings and those dots on the wings, and also some cadmium yellow medium to paint in that part just above her head on her wings. I will be using some larger and also smaller round brush and also some detail brush, and the size of the brush you need to use actually depends on the size of your painting. I'm painting in this time in a larger size. This is 24 by 30 I think centimeters, or 9.5 and 12.5 inches. I think that's something like that. And so it's a bigger paper and I am using bigger brushes. But if you're painting on a smaller size paper, you should be using smaller brushes. And after the first layer of my ladybug dried, I started off with painting the second layer, and this time I did not pre-wet the paper, and I'm just rinsing my brush. When I start to paint, I'm rinsing my brush, and in that way just diluting slightly my paint, not completely cleaning it, but just slightly rinsing it, and that is how, as I said, I'm diluting my paint. I do want this layer to be more saturated and darker, and that is also the reason why I did not pre-wet the paper, because when you do pre-wet the paper and paint on wet, you're actually diluting your paint twice and making it less saturated, because first time you're diluting it on your palette, and second time when you place it on a paper it mixes of course with the water and becomes even more diluted. And as I said, I do want the wings of my ladybug to be quite saturated, so I did not pre-wet the second time, but just painting in with a brush that is quite saturated with paint. I'm painting it, as I said, with cadmium red light and golden deep, because I do want some part of the wings to be a little bit orangey and some parts a little bit more red, because I believe that makes it more believable and that makes it more realistic. And the part that I'm leaving white is actually the is actually the highlight, and the place where the light is hitting her wings. So that part I will be leaving white, and later on add some white gouache here and there for even more highlights. And already with painting those black dots and some freckles here and there, also in black, you can see how this starts to look like a ladybug and her wings. And I will be doing a little bit more of the details, adding some shadow and highlights here and there, as I said earlier, on her wings. But you can already see right away that it is starting to look like ladybug's wings, and our little animal is coming to life. I really do believe this painting isn't really easy, but I wouldn't say it's also that hard. Just follow my steps, and I really do believe you can paint it. Use the sketch I gave you, and if you want to free sketch it, if you want to sketch it yourself, even better, try it. And just follow my steps, and I really do believe you can do this. I think it's something like coloring, I believe. So add some highlights, some shadows, and this will be the perfect practice for your hand, for steadying your hand, because I know when I was starting, a lot of times I just couldn't keep my hand calm. It was just shaking for some reason. It was just shaking so much, and when I tried to paint a straight line or some details, it would shake. So I think this is just a perfect way, because it is detailed. There are a lot of details on this ladybug, not a lot of large washes, blah blah, blah. But a lot of details. So I think there will be a great practice for that. And also, I believe that when you do that, when you just do those details, and when you're just so focused on your painting, you're also just relaxing and releasing a lot of stress and whatever piled negative emotions you have in yourself. So I do believe this is just an awesome way to, as I said, to relax, relieve your stress, and watching this beautiful ladybug come to life. I believe we all love ladybugs. They're just such a great little creatures, happy creatures and good luck creatures. So I do believe we all love them. And creating one of them, painting one of them, it's just, I will give you a lot of satisfaction. And when you finished it, when you look at your ladybug and see it on a paper, I think that will be very, very satisfying. And I do encourage you to try to paint this one. And right now I'm also using a slightly wet brush with paint, and also did not pre-wet the paper, and I'm just smudging the paint here and there, adding it and then smudging, because I do want the paint on my ladybug to be uneven. I don't want it to be flat, but I do want it to have some darker markings, lighter markings here and there, as you can see on it. So I do believe, at least I do believe, it will be more believable, and later on we'll be adding a little bit more details, as I said. But now I've moved on to painting her head, and I painted her eyes and her cheeks. I think those are cheeks. Her cheeks in a lighter color. I just used cadmium yellow medium, very diluted, and painted that, and then moving on to painting the head with a neutral black. And you will see on the sketch those that I've drew those, I don't know, those are not really circles, but those, some places, those are actually the places that I'm leaving right now white. I'm not painting it very dark, because those are the places where the reflection from the light is. And right now I'm just painting in her mustaches using a little detail brush to paint them in, and afterwards, as I said earlier, adding a little bit more details to her wings. And right now I'm using a smaller flat brush to pick up some paint just beneath one of her wings. I thought it was too dark, so I decided to pick it up. And after that, adding a little bit more of the color to her cheeks, darkening some parts, looking as though they are again in the shadow. And after that, I'm painting the legs, and for them I will be using just straight neutral black and no other colors. And also later on some of the legs I will be adding again that hair, mustaches, not mustaches to the legs, but some hair also. And now with the white gouache, I'll be adding those highlights and again some more details to the wings, to her wings, and here and there adding some white dots, you know. And this time, as I said earlier, I left that one part white to, well, where the reflection from the light is on the ladybug, but also now I'm using a white gouache and adding more of those highlights here and there. And also on that part that I did left white, I did add a little bit of white gouache to the black part, to that freckle. And because, you know, I do want that black to peek through to the white, that's the reason why I painted it, and why right now I'm not using so much creamy white gouache, but just I did dilute it slightly with water. And with those highlights, we'll be finishing with our ladybug and moving on to painting the leaf, or adding a little bit more details to the leaf. And in the part that is just beneath the ladybug, I'm adding a little bit more of the green to make it even darker, to make it look like she is creating the shadow on that leaf. Also, the lower part of the leaf I will be painting darker, but to the entire leaf I will be adding a little bit more of the paint. Now I'm using Naples yellow to add a little bit lighter part to the leaf, and with that and a couple less more details with some white gouache sprinkles. Without them, you know, painting is not finished, at least not in my opinion. I always manage to squeeze them in somewhere, some sprinkles. And with that, I'll be finishing off this painting and of course this video. Thank you guys a lot for watching, for all your support. I want you to know that I really do appreciate that. And if you like this video, please hit the like button, share it, comment. And if you haven't still, please subscribe to my channel. It would really help me grow it, and I would appreciate that a lot. And without further ado, I hope I'll see you next time. Bye!